My screen is visible, bro.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So let's start with prayers. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Shvapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Jitapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Shabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्रभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome everyone. Today's topic is overcoming distractions in college life. So this topic is very much relevant for all of you because I think the offline semester has just begun. Some of my friends have also returned to IIT Kharagpur, like the fifth year boys. So yes, due to COVID, you were there in home till now. Now you will face some things, some interaction with your college seniors, and you will experience the offline mode of college, how it looks, everything you will get. So initially, in the first year only, you get this kind of experiences. But I think your first year is a little bit delayed due to COVID. Okay. But okay, now let's talk about what kind of different distractions you can get in college life and how to overcome those. So this is a Wikipedia definition for distraction, right? So what is distraction? Wikipedia says distraction is the process of diverting the attention of an individual or group from the desired area of focus and thereby blocking or diminishing the reception of desired information. So we have some particular goals in our life, some aspirations, and we have some ambitions. Like you have come to IIT Kharagpur, or maybe somebody is going to any kind of college, engineering or medical college. He or she has some kind of aspiration in life, right? So suppose you are there to become an engineer. So that is the prime objective of our life. Now, when our knowledge expands, actually, this aspiration is also a function of our knowledge, right? So the aspiration for a dog is to somehow manage meals for the day. That's the only aspiration. The dog wants nothing else. So that is the consciousness of an animal, that I want to just get nice food, nice sleep, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Basically, these all things are required for an animal to survive. Now, human beings are a little more advanced. They have sophisticated knowledge and they know finer means of sense gratification. So therefore, they know that if I get engineering degree, then I would be able to make money, and with that money, I will be able to purchase these and these things. I can have luxury in my life. So by these kind of knowledges, individual may have some kind of aspiration to go to the field of engineering, medical, or some person they are genuinely interested in science. They want to reveal the truth of the universe. They're in the quest of um, finding the truth. So that's why somebody pursues science. So different individuals are having different kinds of aspirations based on their knowledge, or their consciousness level. And whenever we see that something is disturbing us from achieving that goal, we define that thing as distraction. So you can well understand one thing, that suppose um, some things are distraction for some particular person, but the same thing may not be distraction for other person. So to properly define what distraction is, you have to first define what is my goal, right? Otherwise, there is no meaning of defining the distraction. So first of all, as you are well equipped with some kind of spiritual knowledge, and you are exposed to this kind of philosophy, that we are not this body, we are soul. There is something beyond this body, and since gratification of the body is not the only purpose of the human life, so the devotees are having a little bit of advanced knowledge, and based on that, they have a certain kind of aspiration. And on that particular path, if something is inhibiting them, that is called a distraction. Okay. Now I want to present some statistics that how these distractions are ruining people all over the world. So for the most people in the world, they don't have spiritual knowledge. So they basically aim for materialistic achievements. But in that also, they face severe kind of problems due to this distraction. Like in United States, every year about $650 billion are wasted because people are not focused. That money could be saved if people would be focused in their work. And 1 out of 7 working days are lost. So when we are distracted, it takes a certain amount of time to again get back to the original track. So thus distraction is a great source of time waste. And if we just add up this wastage over a week, a whole day is lost on an average. In the age group of 18 to 34, average 78 minutes are wasted daily on a cell phone. And this is waste. This is not that in the cell phone they are doing some important work. We have cell phones and we do some kind of important work, but we also waste some time in social media and this kind of things. So that is about 2 hours, 1.5 hours like that every day. According to a 2018 United Kingdom survey, youths they admitted that they are checking their smartphone once in every 12 minutes. So it has become an addiction. Okay. Human span of life in Kali Yuga, it's about 70 to 80 years. And out of those years, individual spends about 5 years and 4 months of human life online in social media, surfing social media, Facebook, Instagram, like that. People cannot focus on one task for more than 11 minutes. This is the precarious condition of today's world. People cannot give their attention to one particular task for more than 11 minutes. And there is a particular measure for human attention that is called human attention span. That means till what time you are able to concentrate your mind without any deviation, right? One pointed attention. That was 12 seconds previously, and now it has fallen to 8 seconds. And the goldfish has a attention span of 9 seconds. So fish is like a very much disturbed creature. It's always like it's not stable. So that kind of creature is also having attention span greater than us, the Kali Yuga humans. In an age group of 18 to 24, people admitted that if they have nothing to do, then they will check their phone. 25% of teenagers forget crucial information regarding their academic studies or their personal life due to this distraction. So it is causing memory loss also. So throughout the world, we see people are facing lots of trouble due to these distractions. And in this Kali Yuga, especially, there are social media and hoardings over the road. So everywhere there is advertisement, there are allurements to distract our mind. And the whole purpose of all these things are some particular category of people there making some business profit out of this. They are advertising, and if people are signing up or subscribing to their advertisement, they are making money. But in our personal life, we are suffering because we don't gain anything and our attention is diverted to that thing and we suffer in our personal life. So this is the statistics. So this is a real problem. This is not something vague or we are talking about something imaginary. This is a real problem all over the world. How distraction is affecting us? So our natural workflow is disrupted due to this distraction. Suppose you are studying or doing some sadhana, spiritual activities. So that time, if some thoughts or something pops up in your mind or a notification comes to your phone, then your workflow is disrupted. You get diverted and you start checking phone. You want to answer one message, then you see what are the other messages. Then you start reading, and you are diverted like 1.5 hour, like it's gone. So this is a dangerous thing. So when we are doing something attentively, this kind of distractions, they actually kill our time and saps away our energy. So our workflow is disrupted. Actually, in computer science also, there is a term called context switch. Basically, a computer works in a fashion like the user is submitting multiple job queries. Like the user is submitting one query, okay, play this YouTube video, that is one task. Then the user is telling that, okay, open a new tab in the browser, play the music, play the video. So these are different tasks given to CPU or the central processing unit of the computer. And the CPU um, executes all those instructions. But now the CPU does it in a dynamic fashion. This is called round robin algorithm that it it gives sometimes for a task, some particular time, small amount of time. It does that, and then again it switches to another task. It does that task for some time, and then it again switches to other task. So this is how the CPU do multitasking, right? So we see that in one browser YouTube is going on, in another browser I am doing Google Sheets. So how all these things are happening simultaneously. So the CPU actually does these kind of things in a parallel fashion. So it gives some small amount of time to one task, then switches, gives small amount of time to other task, then again switches. So this switching is called context switching. And this is a great problem in computer architecture. Scientists are trying to minimize this context switching time. So when the CPU is doing one task and it switches the context and moves to another task, it takes some time. It takes some time to revive all the states and everything. So it happens in case of human brain also. When we are attentively doing one thing, like we are studying or we are doing assignments and everything like that. So if we are doing it at one go, then it goes on smoothly. If our attention is proper, everything goes on smoothly. But now once we are distracted, a statistic says that once we are distracted and our attention is broken, to re-establish the same intensity of attention, it takes about 25 minutes. So one distraction and we are losing on an average 25 minutes. And this kind of distractions are happening every now and then. The mind is so much restless. Okay. And Arjun also is asking the same question to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Chanchalam hi manak Krishna, pramati balavaddiram. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, this mind is so much restless. I can control the wind, but I cannot control my own mind. Then Krishna gives the solution that you have to practice abhyasa yogena kwanteya. So by practicing, you can overcome this. So we will get to that conversations. What is the root cause of distractions and how to solve this problem. Now let's focus on how it affects us. So our workflow is disrupted. We lose time and energy. Okay, reduces our efficiency. So if you are giving 100% attention to one task, like previously, people did not have so much distracting agents or gadgets. So therefore, they used to be focused in one thing, right? So ancient mathematicians, the scientists, they were able to give their 100% attention to their research or their studies. And for spiritualists also, they could give 100% attention to their spiritual sadhana, and they got the results. But now in Kali Yuga people are always disturbed. They are less efficient. Srimad Bhagavatam describes Prayena Alpayusa Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayor Manda Bhagahi Upadritam. Upadritam is they are always disturbed. They have so many provocations. They get affected by this. They cannot concentrate their mind on a particular task for a longer period of time. So these problems are there. Fourth is we cannot achieve our goals due to these distractions. Every one of us make some New Year resolutions that this year I will do this, I will do this, I will complete this course, I will um, I will be successful in my academics. Maybe someone aims at I will be a 9 pointer this semester. But then again, with the due course of time, our determination is washed away. And again, we are distracted, and the same thing happens. You will experience this thing. This is very pretty common in the semester system. So people make some kind of resolution, but throughout the time, the determination is gone. It degrades the quality of our work. So if you are not distracted, we are focused. So the quality of work we will produce, and if we are distracted, that quality will get affected. We cannot produce the same quality thing if we are distracted. If our mind has a limited energy, and if that energy is distributed in different things, then obviously in one thing our input will be less. So the quality will be degraded. And when we are not able to achieve our goals, we are not able to meet our deadlines, automatically depression, stress, all these kind of things appear. And they further reduce our efficiency and we become more depressed. So the infinite loop goes on. So this is a vicious cycle. So once you are distracted, then this cycle will go on. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that how gradually one falls down. ध्यायते विषयान् पुंसा संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजयते काम कामात् क्रोध विजायते क्रोधत् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रम स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So if you are attracted to some material comforts or some kind of activity, if you are getting distracted from your original prescribed duty, then what happens? First of all, you get attracted to that hayato vishan pumsa. You start meditating on that thing, that distractive element, instead of your prescribed work. And by such kind of meditation, sangastesu upajayate, you develop attachment. Now see, in the statistic itself, we saw that people are so much attached to their smartphone. This is a distracting agent. So first, when you are doing some kind of work, your mind is restless. When I will check my phone, uh, did that person WhatsApp me? How many messages I have got? How many new videos are uploaded in YouTube? So like that, continuously, your mind is distracted, and you are attached. If you if one says you that you have to leave your phone for one day, it's a great austerity for the Kali Yuga persons. So this is how you develop attachment. Sangastesu upajayate. Now sangat sanjayate kama. And from this attachment comes lust. Kamat krodha avijayate. From lust, anger is produced. If your parents tell you that why you are checking phone so frequently, you get angry. Whenever there is some difficulty in fulfilling our lust, we become angry. So krodha is a product of kama or lust. Kamat krodha avijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. And from this anger, you are deluded. Illusion appears. And sammohat smriti vibhrama. You forget about what is your real goal of life and what are you meant to do. All the knowledge, they just escape from your head. And from smriti bhramsad buddhi nash, so your intelligence is lost. You are so much addicted that you cannot apply your intelligence, which is right and which is wrong. And buddhi nasat pranashati. You are doomed, you are finished. So once you are distracted, so it's like a simple harmonic motion. So for a simple harmonic oscillator, the more you go to one extreme point, acceleration is more. So similarly, if you are focused, then no distraction. If you are slightly distracted, the slight distraction will lead to more distraction and it will cause you more accelerated fall. So we cannot entertain a single bit of distraction because that single distraction will bring more distraction and more distraction will bring another kind of distraction. So like that, there is an accelerating effect and ultimately we are doomed. We are finished and we cannot achieve our goal and we will feel at the end of the time, I have wasted my time and we will be depressed. So this is a serious consequences we can get and distraction is a serious problem. So now let's try to investigate what is the root cause of this distraction. So the root cause of distraction is material desires. Actually, not only distractions, all our material problems, all the problems which we face in this material world are caused by material desires. That is the only problem. If we are free from material desires, that state is called pure devotee. A pure devotee does not have any kind of material desires. So therefore, a pure devotee does not have any problem, no distraction and no anxiety, no depression, no problem at all. So this material desires is the root of our material existence and the root of all the problems which we get in the material world. So Arjuna is asking one question to Krishna. So basically what distraction is, we all know all these things which we discussed, that distraction is not good and ultimately it leads to failure in life. Okay, we all know that we should give 100% attention to our studies or whatever work we are doing and we should not get distracted. So everybody tries to not get distracted, but still they are distracted. So there is some kind of force which forces one to get distracted, although every one of us is trying to not get distracted. So what is that force? Arjuna asked the same question to Krishna. So Arjuna asked in Bhagavad Gita 3.36. Arjuna uvacha अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुष अनिच्छन् अपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजिता अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं charati purusha. So I know what is right and what is wrong. Wrong thing means papa. Right thing means that is my prescribed duty. So I know what is papa or wrong things, but still anichan api varsneya. I don't desire to commit those sinful activities or I don't desire to get distracted. Still, baladiva niyojita. It seems like some force is uh, forcing me to commit that sinful activity or get distracted. What is that force? Arjuna said, or descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So, what is that force? So, Krishna identifies. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenamiha Vairinam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, what is this force? Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava. This is lust. Lust means material desire. Arjuna, which is born of the contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. So this is all devouring. This will finish you. Once you are distracted, you will gradually get attached to that thing, and from attachment, sangat sanjayate kama, lust will come. From lust, anger. From anger, delusion. From delusion, you will you will experience loss of memory, and from loss of memory, loss of intelligence, and then you are doomed. So this is a vicious cycle, and it starts with the material desire. So that is the root cause of everything. So why we are getting attracted? Why we are getting distracted? So basically, when you are studying or doing your sadhana, so that means there exists something which you like more than your study or sadhana. So you have some material desires and you like watching YouTube videos. Suppose, for example, you like watching YouTube videos. So that is one kind of sense gratification. And whenever a new video comes, you are restless. You cannot focus anymore. So that is the actual reason. So we can try so many things. So there are many motivational speakers. They give you some solutions. Do like this, do like that. You will stay focused. But nobody knows what is the root cause. If you are not treating the root cause, the problem will reappear. It's not a permanent solution. So the solutions given by the materialistic motivational speakers are not permanent. They will not solve your problems because those solutions are temporary, because those solutions are not addressing the root cause. And who can recognize the root cause other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Therefore, you have to take shelter of these books like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord diagnoses what is our problem and gives us the exact solution. So this material desires is the root cause. So we have to cure these material desires. So once we have cured of these material desires, nothing can distract us. We will have least interest in anything other than our prescribed work. We can focus 100%. So that is a desired condition. Okay, so we have identified what is our problem, what is the root cause. This is material desires or lust. Now, what is the remedy? Remedy of everything, of all our material problems, is taking shelter of Krishna by devotional service. So this is one spiritual solution which is a solution for all material problems. In Srimad Bhagavatam itself, Vyasdev, um, this is from the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the context is we know that Vyasdev has written all these different kinds of literatures, right? All the 4 Vedas, all different Puranas. Vyasdev has written. Vyasdev is called the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, because Vyasdev anticipated that, okay, Vedas are known as Shruti, and people are Shrutidhar, is they can remember whatever they have heard. In the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, people are called Shrutidhar, so they can remember. But people in Kali Yuga, we previously described what is the condition. Praina alpayusha sabhya kalogasmin yuge jana manda sumandha matayor manda bhagya upadrita. So they are utterly disturbed, and they are always they have less memory, less intelligence, and everything is diminished in Kali Yuga people. So they cannot be Shrutidhar and they cannot remember by hearing. So there is a requirement of some written document for the Kali Yuga people. So Vyasdev anticipated that, and Vyasdev wrote everything, all the verses of Vedas and Puranas, compiled 4 Vedas and other Puranas. But still, after compiling everything, Vyasdev was dissatisfied in his heart. Vyasdev thought that I have done everything. I am doing a philanthropic work. This is for the welfare of all human beings. So I am doing some philanthropic work, and I have worshipped my guru, and I am doing everything under the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have written the Vedas, Puranas for the welfare of the people. So still, why there is some kind of dissatisfaction in my heart? Then suddenly Narad Muni appeared in front of Vyasadeva. Narad Muni was the spiritual master of Vyasadeva, Guru. So now Narad Muni says, "Oh Vyasadeva, what is the cause of your despondency or dissatisfaction? Why are you dissatisfied? You are such a great sage. You are an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Still, why you are dissatisfied? You have written everything perfectly, Vedas and Puranas." Then Narad Muni chastises You know what is your problem? You have not glorified the Supreme Person of Godhead enough in your literatures. And Narada Muni chastises like anything. Narada Muni goes on to the extent of saying, whatever you have written is nothing but a dustbin. No sane personality is going to read your literatures. Narada Muni says, Najadvachaschitrapadam harirjasho jagat pavitram praginita karhichit tadvayasham tirthamushanti manasa najatra hamsa niramantu shikshaya. So what is Vayasham Tirtham? Vayasham means crows and Tirtha means pilgrimage. Najad Vachas Chitra Padam Harer Jasho Jagat Pavitram Praginita Karhichid. Those literatures which do not describe the glory of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these glories of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead only can sanctify the whole universe. And if some literature is missing that essential component, then that literature is Vayasam Tirtham or the pilgrimage of the crows. And what is a pilgrimage of the crows? It is a fancy term, but literally this means a dustbin. Because whenever there is dustbin, that is a feast for the crows. Okay. And then Narada Muni says, on the other hand, spiritual literatures, Tadbhag Visargo Janatag Viplabo Jasmin Pratishlokam Abadyavatyapi Namani Anantasya Jashonkitani Jat Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Shadava. On the other hand, if you have any spiritual literature and the author of the spiritual literature is trying to glorify the Supreme Lord, but the author is not so much expert in the grammar or the intricacies of Sanskrit verses, and therefore the author has composed the verses with some kind of grammatical error, but still the author is trying to glorify the Supreme Lord, then still that literature is accepted. Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Shadava. So if some literature has attempted to glorify the Supreme Person of Godhead, that literature is accepted even with some kind of errors. On the other hand, if some literature is perfect in composition but does not describe the glory of the Supreme Person of Godhead, which is the only thing which can sanctify the whole universe, if that glory of the Supreme Person of Godhead is missing in some literature, that literature is like Vayasam Tirtham, and the Paramahamsas, they do not delight in such literature. So Narada Muni chastises thoroughly Vyasdev. Actually, this is a pastime. Vyasdev is the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna himself. So through this pastime, Krishna teaches us, see, I have written so many things, except the uh, illustrative glory of the Supreme Person of Godhead. I have given all the codes of dharma in the Vedic literatures, but I have not enough glorified the lotus feet of Krishna. Then, what is the effect? I am receiving strong chastisement from Guru. So, the Supreme Lord enacts this drama to teach us the importance of the glory of the Supreme Person of Godhead, or importance of taking shelter of Krishna through devotional service. That is the solution to all our problems. Distraction is a small problem. There are so many material problems which come along the material existence. And all those problems can be washed away if we stick to this simple solution. So now, after Narada Muni departs, chastising Vyasdev, Vyasdev starts meditating on the Supreme Lord, and he will soon start compiling Srimad Bhagavatam. So when Vyasdev starts meditating, Vyasdev saw three things. Vyasdev could immediately see the Supreme Person of Godhead. And Vyasdev also saw Maya, or the illusory potency of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Now, this illusory potency is the reason why we get distracted. We get distracted to material things, like we get distracted to smartphones or opposite gender, these kind of things. So these are all arrangements of Maya, or the external or the illusory potency of the Lord. So Vyasdev saw the Supreme Lord, Vyasdev saw the illusory potency, and Vyasdev saw the living entity who is suffering due to the illusory potency of the Lord. And it is not like the illusory potency is the cause of the suffering of the living entity. And living entity is innocent, not like that. It is the desire of the living entity that the living entity has left Krishna and chosen Maya. Therefore, the living entity is suffering. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Krishna bhuli je je vanadi bahir mukate Maya pere dai samsara dukh. Whenever we forget Krishna and we embrace Maya, immediately there is pain and distress, distraction, everything, all the problems will come. When we are connected to Krishna, there is no problem. So Vyasdev saw Krishna, Vyasdev saw Maya, and Vyasdev saw living entities who are suffering due to this external potency of the Supreme Lord. And then Vyasdev could comprehend what is the medicine. What is the medicine to recover such situation? So this is that verse. Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yoga madhukshaje lokasya janato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. So satvata samhitam means in this Srimad Bhagavatam, bhakti yoga unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Adokshaja is described, and which is the solution to all anarthas. There are 6 anarthas: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsarja, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. So we know that lust is the root cause of all distractions. And that lust, not only lust, all the anarthas can be cured by this process of bhakti yoga unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Daivihi yesha gunamai mama maya durattaya mamevo ye prapaddante maya me tam tarantite. So Krishna declares, Daivihi esha gunamai mama maya durattaya. This external energy of mine or this Maya Shakti is unsurpassable. You cannot surpass this Maya Shakti by your own endeavor. So Krishna declares, whatever material process you try, you will fail. So all these material motivational speakers, whatever solutions they will give, those solutions will not work. Krishna says directly. You will fail because you cannot overcome. The only way to overcome this distraction or the effect of the illusory energy is Mameva ye prapaddante. If someone is surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, Maya metam tarantite. That person can cross over this Maya Shakti or illusory energy, and that person can be without any distraction. So this is a simple formula we have to follow. But surrendering unto Krishna, this is a simple statement, but it takes a lot of effort to execute that. Okay, so now sometimes we think that, okay, if we surrender unto Krishna, then we can avoid distractions. But we have to put our hard work also, right? So sometimes people have this kind of thoughts. So what to do? Totally depend on Krishna and do nothing, and or the other extreme, that I have to work hard and because I'm become an atheist. I don't have uh, any kind of faith in the God. So I'm thinking I am the karta, I am the doer. My hard work is the key to my success. So these are two different philosophies. But in Bhagavad Gita 18.14, Krishna says that your success depends on 5 factors. There is no such formula for success. Okay, so success has 5 different components. Success is a function of 5 variables. What are those 5 variables? Adhishtanam tatha karta, karanam cha prithak vidham, vividascha prithak cheshta, daivam chaivatra panchamam. So there are 5 factors. One is the place of action or the body. Second is the performer who is performing. Then the various senses with which we are performing the task. Many different kinds of endeavors. Our endeavor is also one factor, and ultimately the super soul. Without the sanction of the super soul, nothing can happen. So whatever success we are getting, the super soul must sanction. Otherwise, we may be doing too much hard work, but everything will collapse without the sanction of the super soul. So therefore, we have to understand that everything is not in our hand. Okay. So this, if you have this thought in your mind, this will also help you in surrendering unto the Supreme Lord. You see, there are so many examples around you. You can observe that not only hard work can give you success. Only hard work cannot ensure you success. There are so many people, like I can tell you, when I was, you must have also experienced this thing in our coaching center during the preparation of JEE Advanced. There were so many classmates in the coaching center, and they were like putting 15, 16 hours per day. And I have seen still people are failing. So what is the reason? So it is not 100% true that if you put hard work, you will get success. There are some other factors also. If those factors are not in your favor, you cannot do hard work. And this thing is scientifically proven also. You can say that, oh, only you spiritualist people only speak about these things. But all around the world, people are saying that hard work has no substitute. And if you do hard work, then you are guaranteed to have success. No, it's not like that. It is scientifically proven also by probability theory. There is a channel I can mention you. There is a channel called Veritasium. And the person who makes the video is PhD in physics. So he proves this scientifically. He is not a spiritual minded person. So there is no bias from the spiritual side. So he proves that this success does not depend on hard work. It depends on some amount of luck. Okay, so you can check that video. So Krishna has said this 5,000 years ago. Now people are coming with probability theory and everything. They have statistics, they are experimenting, and they are coming to the same conclusion. And it has to happen because Krishna had already created this universe. He knows everything in and out. It's like we have bought a washing machine, and with that washing machine, we have got the user manual also. In the user manual, company has written every specification that this key is for this task, this button is for this task, and we reject the user manual and we start exploring. It may take 1 year to fully decode all the specifications for us. But if we have consulted that user manual, in 10 seconds, we would be knowing all the specifications. So 1 year is wasted. So this is a toy example. In real world, we waste our whole lifetime without reading Gita. And at the end of the life, we understand my philosophy was wrong. And then we have no time. Yamraj is calling us. So that is the precarious condition of Kali Yuga, that Krishna has given all the formulas, still we are not able to accept. We don't have that kind of intelligence that, okay, Krishna is already giving us those conclusions. What is the need of so much experimentation? So there are 5 things, not only our hard work. Okay, so we can do our part, but there is also other factors which are not in our control. But those factors may be not in our control, but those factors are also under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a great thing. If we can make Krishna our friend, we can make impossible also possible. Suppose you have Prime Minister as your friend. So normal things which would be difficult for a normal citizen would be possible for you because Prime Minister is your friend. So your success depends on 5 factors, out of which one is in your hand, your endeavor. But you have one friend, Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has all these 5 factors under his control. So therefore, we have to develop this relationship with Krishna if you want to get real success in our life. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram shuhridam sarvabhutanam. So in friendship, there are 2 hands, right? We handshake and make a friendship. So Krishna has already given Krishna's hand in 5.29. We have to give our hand. So Krishna says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna declares, I am the ever well-wishing friend of every living entity. So Krishna accepts every one of us as his friend. But we have to also acknowledge that we accept Krishna as our friends. We discussed this thing, I think, last time also, that our success does not depend on only endeavor. So this is a graphical representation of whatever I just explained, that it does not only depend on endeavor. It depends on endeavor, but after a certain point, whatever endeavor you put, you will not cross beyond that destiny point. If you are destined that you can grow up to this point, you can put infinite endeavor, but you cannot go beyond this point. But if you are a devotee, now that this limit becomes flexible. This is not a fixed limit anymore because Krishna can increase that limit. So we explained this thing, I think, in the previous session. So therefore, this is important to build up the relationship with Krishna, because by that relationship, many things we can do. We just saw we cannot stop distraction with our own power. But if we have Krishna with us, we can stop distraction. We can be successful. In our success also, there are 5 factors, out of which one is in our hand. But Krishna has all 5. So therefore, this is very, very important to develop our relationship with Krishna. Even if you think in terms of material achievements, if you want to minimize distraction and maximize success, in that perspective also, you should be practicing Krishna consciousness. What to speak of if you are a spiritual seeker, obviously. But in terms of material achievement also, Krishna is necessary. Now, this is one remedy, taking shelter of Krishna. And how can you take shelter of Krishna? The best thing is association of devotees. I think in the last session also I told about the importance of association of devotees. So suppose it takes X amount of effort for surrendering unto Krishna or taking shelter of Krishna. With the association of devotees, you can do it with 0.1x. So 10 times your effort will decrease if you are in association of devotees. Those favorable winds of the association of devotees will uh, reduce your work. Suppose you are sailing one boat in a river or ocean, and if you have favorable winds, your hard work is reduced. So similarly, if you want to take shelter of Krishna, association of devotees is the one thing which can help you. So there is a great story of Bharat Maharaj illustrating this importance of association of devotees. So Bharat Maharaj was a great renunciant. He renounced his kingdom and then he went to forest to meditate on the Supreme Lord Vishnu. He reached up to the stage of Bhava. What is Bhava? There are 9 stages of devotional service. Ado Shraddha, Tato Sadhu, Sangauta, Bhajana Kriya, Tato Nartha Nivitrishat, Tato Nishta Ruchistata, Atha Shaktis Tato Bhavas, Tatha Prema Vyudanchati, Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradur Bhave Bhavet Krama. So basically, there are 9 stages: Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prem. So Bhava is the second last stage of perfection. So Bharat Maharaj was on the 8th stage, Bhava stage. One more step, and Bharat Maharaj would be completely perfected soul, a liberated, pure devotee. So Bharat Maharaj reached the stage of Bhava, but then got attracted to a baby deer. How? Once Bharat Maharaj was in the forest and female deer was there. The female deer was frightened by some ferocious animal and it was trying to cross one stream of water, and it had a miscarriage, and the female deer died and a small baby deer was born. And Bharat Maharaj was attracted to this baby deer, and Bharat Maharaj was thinking, there is no one to take care of this deer, let me take care of it. So Bharat Maharaj, for a momentary uh, thought came in Bharat Maharaj's mind that there is no one to take care of this deer other than me. So for a momentary forgetfulness of Krishna, Bharat Maharaj momentarily forgot that Krishna is maintaining everything. I'm not the maintainer. So if let me do my work, let me feed this deer for some time, and then Krishna will maintain. There is no issue. But Bharat Maharaj considered that I am the only one who can take care of this deer, and there is none other than me who can take care. Then he got so much attracted to that baby deer that he became reluctant to his spiritual sadhana. And then at the end of the Bharat Maharaj's life, he remembered a deer. He was remembering the deer only. And Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, Anta kale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram, japrayati samadbhavam jatinastatra samshaya, jam jam bhavi smaran bhapam tejat tantre kalevaram, tam tam evaiti kvanteya sadatad bhava bhavita. So Krishna says, whatever state of consciousness you will be remembering at the time of death, that state you will attain. So Bharat Maharaj became a deer. Bharat Maharaj becomes a deer in the next life. But Krishna shows one mercy that in the deer body also Bharat Maharaj remembers his past life. And that deer was sitting with saintly persons and hearing the holy names of Krishna, hearing different pastimes from the saintly persons. And then after the deer life, Bharat Maharaj became Jada Bharat. And in this life, Bharat Maharaj was very, very sincere not to get distracted by anything. And therefore, Jada Bharat was like, he was behaving like a dumb and foolish person so that nobody disturbs him. And he was internally remembering the Supreme Lord. And gradually, Bharat Maharaj as Jada Bharat attained perfection. So this shows us the importance of association of devotees. How Bharat Maharaj went to do sadhana alone in the forest, and therefore Maya could capture him. This association of devotees can protect us from the onslaught of Maya. So therefore, through this example of Bharat Maharaj, we can learn that we should practice devotional service in the association of the devotees. Then we are safe. Maya cannot hamper us. Okay, so now we have known that what is distraction, what is the root cause of distraction, material desire, how to deal with it, surrender unto Krishna, and how to surrender unto Krishna, association of devotees. Now, let us come to your specific case. What kind of distractions you are going to face in your college life and how to deal with that. There are some practical tips as a devotee which you can follow. So first thing is choose proper association. So if you are associated with wrong people, then nobody can save you. Like in your hostel lives, you will get some seniors who are highly impure in their character and they are doing all sorts of nonsense. So you have to be very, very careful. There would be plenty of such persons in your hostel, your classmates or your seniors, but you have to be very, very careful to choose your association. Because everyone is not a devotee, so you will always not get devotees. You will have some material friends, but that thing you have to choose very, very sincerely with whom I am making friendship and try to find someone who is uh, who is serious about academics and has some amount of purity if he is not a devotee. And best thing is associate with devotees. Like in your voice also, you will get many seniors who are from your same department, so you can take guidance and everything. So that is best. But sometimes in your college life, you have to make material friends. So be a little bit judgmental in those conditions. Then second is to deal with distraction, chalk out your goals. So what happens generally, the days are just passed by and we feel nothing. And at the end of the semester, when the exam is coming, we feel, oh, I have wasted so much time and I have so many things to cover. Oh, what will happen? So don't let this situation come. Chalk out your goals. So this is your period of 6 months, a semester, or something like that. So always try to be updated with is um, whatever is taught in your class, and you should set your some own goals also. Like if you are trying for placements or something like that. You have to do competitive coding for that. So you allot some amount of time for that. And obviously, for your spiritual life also, you have to allot some time. So everything should be balanced. Maintain a sattvic lifestyle that helps you to avoid distractions. Get up early in the morning, take a bath, chant few rounds, and then start your day. Okay. Then go to college and do all other stuffs. In college also, in between your classes, you will get some free slots. So please utilize that. Don't just gossip in those slots and you will not get time in the end. Then when you come back from college, try to do some Srila Prabhupada book reading. That is also necessary. And then I mean, you can do whatever. It is not that you have to do that in the specified time. You can make your own schedule, but make it a sattvic lifestyle. Try to associate with devotees, try to come to voice. And in your second years, I think you will shift to voice. But visit devotees, take prasad, and in the hostel also eat only sattvic food. So this helps to reduce agitations and distractions, sattvic lifestyles. Regularly chanting your rounds, that is one of the essential thing. If you are chanting your rounds daily, we discussed in the previous chanting session that regularly chanting means you are keeping your connection with Krishna established. And whenever you are connected with Krishna, nothing can distract you. So this is the most essential thing you should do. Regularly reading Srila Prabhupada books, already I mentioned. Refrain from social media unless it is urgent. This is very, very important instruction. So this is a tendency of college students. Whenever they find some free time, they try to open WhatsApp, Facebook, and these kind of things. So refrain from doing that unless it is really necessary, because you may be planning to open it for 10 minutes, but it will take 1 hour. So that is an unnecessary time waste. Refrain from useless time waste like these things, gossiping with people, talking nonsense. So reduce these times. Yes. And we all require some kind of recreation. We cannot work continuously. That I understand. So generally, college people open Facebook, WhatsApp, and they surf social media to take a break from their studies. But now, in this case, you have to be very, very careful. There is a principle called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are feeding your brain with all these different kinds of nonsense things, then your consciousness will be nonsense only. And this will be, you cannot restrict your consciousness to be distracted if you are feeding garbage. So therefore, we need recreation, but for recreation, you choose something constructive. You hear lectures from devotees, you hear kirtan, there are dramas, there are lots of ISKCON channels in YouTube, and also your seniors will give you kirtans and lectures by some Maharajas. Okay, there are different series like Gaurang Prabhu has some series overcoming anger, overcoming lust, these kind of things. These are constructive. So you are recreating in a way which is energizing. So when you are studying next time, this recreation time will help you. Like whatever you learn during this recreation time, that will help. But if you are doing social media, that will not help. That will hint and distract you when you are next going to study. So this thing you have to keep your mind. Your recreation hours should be properly utilized in constructive activities. Yes, and another principle is try to utilize your morning hours. If you have not shifted to voice till now, try to utilize the morning hours, because in the early morning hours, generally the hostel people will be asleep. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Janisa sarva bhutanam tasam jagrati samjami jasam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato mune. So a yogi, the daily schedule of a yogi and a materialistic person is 180-degree opposite. When a yogi rises, wakes up from sleep, that time the materialistic person goes to sleep. And when the yogi sleeps, that time the materialistic person wakes up. So in the early morning hours, if you wake up, you will find that most of your distracting elements, so-called college or hostel mates, they will be sleeping and you can peacefully do your work. So try to utilize those hours. Take guidance from devotees because devotees are well wishers. They don't have any kind of envy in their heart. If you take guidance from college seniors, what will happen? Some seniors, they could not achieve some goal, so they will hesitate that should I tell the secret to this boy? I have not achieved. So they have some kind of reservation, some envy. So you will not get pure guidance from your college seniors. That is biased. But if you take guidance from your senior devotees who are in your department, maybe, or you can find many devotees. And there is a very large network of devotees. So you can take guidance from those devotees. If you cannot find, you can contact any senior, like Akash Prabhu also can give you some seniors who can guide you in academics. And for spiritual guidance, you can ask anyone, any of the devotees. So this is the thing. Whenever you are facing any confusion, take guidance from devotees, not from materialistic people. There is another important thing. You should report your progress to some person, some authority, some senior. Then what will happen? You will not get distracted. You will have a thing in your mind that okay, somebody is um, keeping the report of my progress. So if I don't perform up to the mark, that person may chastise me. So what happens basically when you come to college? You are not in home. In home, your parents actually they supervise you whether you are studying or not, and whether you are wasting time or not. But when you come to college, there is no one. So naturally, there is a tendency of mind to experience and explore this new kind of independence, and you are prone to waste your time and get distracted. But if you keep someone as your authority and report on a regular basis, then you can reduce this distraction and create favorable association, like your roommates or hostel mates with whom you were staying. So you can make them Krishna conscious. By making them Krishna conscious, you can create favorable association. If you don't have any favorable association, you should start creating. And when they will start practicing Krishna consciousness, so first of all, you have to imbibe the philosophy yourself. Then only you can preach. But try to bring them to the programs of voice, try to bring them in contact with your voice seniors, and they will get reformed. Then it will be easier for you to focus on your things like studies or sadhana if you have like-minded association. Now all these things are some practical tips which you can apply. But if you are staying in voice, everything is automatically taken care. So that is why I was telling that if you have to put effort, X amount of effort, and if you are in voice or in association of devotees, you have to give X by 10. So it's only 10%. So in voice, you will automatically get the guidance of the devotees. Favorable association is already there. Srila Prabhupada's book reading slot is there. Your chanting slot is there. And for your study hours are there. There are loving superiors who can clarify your doubts. And obviously, you will be recreating with devotees with some kirtan. So this is a Vaikuntha experience. Everything will be very, very easy with voice. Okay. Now, I will explain you what are the different benefits which we get from voice, and the method which we discussed today, how that is affected. I will give you some legitimate proofs of that. Um, First of all, we knew that what is distraction, and then we investigated the root cause. Then we saw the solutions from Bhagavad Gita. Then we saw solutions practically. Now we will see how these practical solutions are helpful. I will give you some examples and some proofs. So, what benefits you get from voice? It is a pure environment for study and spiritual habits. So, automatically, all your spiritual sadhana and study goals are taken care. You can cultivate a mode of goodness. The voice schedule is made in such a way, the food, everything in such a way that It is not only goodness, but pure goodness. Everything is transcendental and spiritual. Krishna Prasad. Okay. So automatically your mode of goodness will increase, and with increase of mode of goodness, all the distractions will reduce. Third thing is very important, cultivating resilience with spiritual wisdom. What is this resilience? Actually, whenever we go to any college or university or any motivational video we hear, everyone is trying to say us how to become successful. If you bring such and such marks, you will be successful. If you do competitive coding, you will be successful. So everyone is giving you a formula of success, but no one is teaching you how to face failures. That is one important aspect of life, because success and failure is not in your hand. Hard work does not ensure success. So this is possible that even if you have put hard work, you are failed. This is possible, quite possible. But then where is the education to face failures in spite of hard work? So there comes the importance of spiritual wisdom. If you have spiritual wisdom, you know all these things. Okay, I may be failure in spite of hard work. I may be failure due to my previous karma. But if I stay with Krishna, if I follow the path of religion, ultimately I will be victorious, as stated in the last verse of Bhagavad Gita. Jatra Jogeshwaro Krishna Jatra Partha Dhanurdhara Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So generally materialistic people are demotivated when they put hard work, and in spite of that hard work they are failing. So this is devastating for the material minded persons, because they are believer of the theory that hard work equal to success. But when this theory is crunched in the course of life, they are devastated. Sometimes they commit suicide and everything. In IIT also, in every semester some suicide happens, I have seen during my stay, and in many places. So people are depressed, frustrated when they are crunched in the course of life. But if you have spiritual wisdom, you can be resilient, and you can maintain your motivation in spite of failures. So there comes the role of spiritual wisdom. In voice, you also get the caring guidance of the seniors. Okay. So I have put in this slide some pictures of your successful seniors. Okay. So when I was in first year, they were in fourth year. So now, like, they are 3 years superior to me. So I am now in master's first year. So some of them are doing PhD and some are placed and they are doing job. So for my personal example also, you can see this network of voice, this devotee network, this not only helps you in your spiritual life, this also helps in your academic or material life. How? Let me tell by my personal example. So when I came to IIT Kharagpur in the first year, I met devotees and I became a devotee by their mercy. And then I started practicing Krishna consciousness. I started chanting. And by the end of fourth year, I was initiated along with my parents. Initiation means you were taking a strong commitment to follow these spiritual vows. Now, I had some aspiration for higher studies, because from the childhood only, I was interested in research and teaching. So professor is the one job which fits me, and this was like my dream job. So I wanted to pursue higher education for that. But I was very much worried about the fact that will I get association in abroad, like in America or whatever place I go. So I was very much worried about that. That in a voice I have superiors, like my seniors are there, many devotees. In home also there is spiritual atmosphere. But when I will live abroad, will I get any kind of devotee association? How will I maintain my spiritual life? So I was anxious about that. Then, this director of voice is His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. So I mailed Radheshyam Prabhu regarding this, that I have applied for MS to multiple universities, and I was applying in such a way that ISKCON is nearby in those universities. Actually, For all the top class universities, there is ISKCON nearby. For MIT, Stanford, Berkeley, UCLA, like that, all the universities. So this is the credit of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was a genius. He had a very, very broad vision. So he anticipated the problem of souls like us who will come to pursue higher education. So they need some kind of devotee association. So all the colleges I applied, and then I had some acceptance from some eminent college like Georgia Tech and UCLA. Then I chose UCLA because some of my other classmates, like from IIT Kharagpur, they three of us got in UCLA. So we thought we are going to a new place, so let's go together. I will have some friends, so this will be good. So I mailed Radheshan Prabhu that Prabhu, I am going to UCLA and I'm worried about devotee association over there. So then Radheshan Prabhu uh, uh, actually connected me to some devotee here in Los Angeles temple. So the day I came here, that devotee assisted me, took me to the temple. I was having the darshan of Rukmini Dwarkadis. I took prasad and everything was so smooth. So in US also I was feeling like it is my voice only. So voice is not your this room, IIT Kharagpur. Voice is worldwide. Actually, voice means Krishna's quarter. And you can find such quarters throughout the universe, not only in IIT Kharagpur. So this is a very, very big network because this is the network of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you don't think that I will be secluded and I will not get any benefit. People will call me, oh, you are connected to ISKCON, so you are disconnected from the society. Not like that. You will get many, many benefits. So till now, I'm connected to those devotees and they take care of me. They regularly ask me whether I am doing well or not. So this is like a very homely feeling. And I feel very, very safe and secure in this foreign land also. And not only that, that is a spiritual aspect and emotional aspect which devotees take care, and academic aspect also. Let me tell you one real example. My roommates, we are from the computer science department, so my roommates and I also, we are searching for internships. Now here, internship, for getting internship, you need some referral. So if you want some internship in Amazon or Google, Facebook, some company, you need a referral. Referral means that an employee of that company refers you, that I am referring this guy. I think he is a suitable person. So company actually considers your resume with more importance. So now this my roommates, they are finding uh, how to get referral. We know no one in this foreign land how to get referral. So they are struggling. And what I had to do, the devotee with whom Radheshan Prabhu connected me, that devotee wrote a mail to ISKCON Silicon Valley that here is Ruparaj Ram Prabhu, means that's my initiated name. My name is Rathin Singha. Here is Rathin Prabhu, who is trying to get an internship. And in ISKCON Silicon Valley, there is a bunch of devotees who are working in different companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and Cisco, Oracle. So all those devotees at once referred me. So I got 10 referrals without doing any effort. And my roommates are finding referral. They are spending 3-4 days to find one referral. Can you imagine? So this is the overall protection Krishna gives you. Whatever Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam je jana paryupasate tesham nitya vijukta mam yogakshemam bahamyaham. So Krishna really takes care. But for that, Krishna tests you also. There will be some time when you feel that, okay, I'm losing and everything bad is happening with me. So Krishna will test that whether your devotion is genuine or not. During the low times also, are you pursuing Krishna consciousness? And if you pass this test, if you pass this test as a sincere devotee, Krishna will never fail to protect you. Okay. So not only me, there are many inspiring seniors like Rajendra Prabhu, Shivam Prabhu, Antray Prabhu. These three people, they have come to US from Kharagpur Vyas only. So they are also pursuing PhD. Antray Prabhu is doing PhD in UC Berkeley. Rajendra Prabhu is doing PhD in University of Illinois. So they are reputed universities. So see, these people have never compromised on their sadhana. And in the course of time, Krishna placed them in proper place. Siddhartha Prabhu also recently became a Indian statistical officer. And there are Sarthak Prabhu, Harminder Prabhu, Sachin Prabhu, who are placed in good companies. And some devotees have started their own coaching center. So for devotees, Krishna actually takes care. There is no problem. And I have seen some negative examples, like people came to voice and they thought this Krishna consciousness is causing problem in my academics. So that is a misconception, that is an illusion. They thought that if I stop chanting, I can invest more hours in my studies. So that is one illusion. I have seen such kind of person who have left voice for academics, and when they were in voice, they had CGPA 8.59. Okay, and when they left voice to give more hours in academics, their CGPA got reduced to 6.5. Can you imagine? So this actually happens. So during your stay of voice, if you sometimes feel this is too much, I have to do too much hard work and I am not getting enough time for my studies, stick to it. This is an illusion that you can invest more hours in your academics by leaving voice. This does not happen. This is my practical experience. Okay, so practice this Krishna consciousness with all your heart and don't neglect your studies. Do these things parallelly. Success is assured for you. Nobody can restrict. There are some more examples. I have selected 2 interesting videos for all of you. Okay, you will enjoy, I think. These are some eminent examples. I have given you examples of your voice seniors. And now I will give example of 2 other devotees and you will hear from them. And these 2 devotees are inspiration for me also. Okay, so let's hear. I think you will enjoy this. So first one is, I think you already know if you are acquainted with if you are exploring YouTube and thing. So he is Amarendra Prabhu. So Amarendra Prabhu has done his master's in electrical engineering from University of Massachusetts, Boston. He is the grand disciple of Srila Prabhupada, disciple of His Holiness Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj. Spiritually, he is holding a Bhakti Shastri degree from Mayapur. And he is a wonderful devotee. In my first year, I used to hear many lectures of Prabhuji. Almost all the lectures at that time, I have remembered all the lectures during my first year. Now in these 3-4 years, Prabhuji has given more lectures, so some are left. But at one time, I exhausted all the lectures. So hear from him some of his experiences. I think this will take 10 minutes. Another devotee will take 10 minutes. So what is the time in India? It's about 7. It's 8:30. Okay. It may be extended for 10-20 minutes. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So I have finished all my whatever I wanted to say. Now hear from them.
You will be shocked.
Okay, just confirm me whether this audio is audible or not.
Haribol, Prabhu. Yes, audible, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
You will be shocked. One devotee, I shouldn't name, we were having some program together. It was a small, closed reading. And my friend, he was also sitting. And then he started saying, the doorkeepers of Vishnu, Jaya and Viru. And everyone is shocked. Then everyone's looking at him. He said, yes, doorkeepers, they stopped. 4 Kumaras, Jaya and Viru stopped. Then I had to tell him, Viru nahi, Jaya, Vijay. So he said, yeah, I'm sorry. And then later he was telling me, 3rd canto mein Sholay nikal gaya. So like that. There are hilarious things that happen, by the way. It's really funny. when I was doing my undergrad, I had decided I'm not going to go for on-campus placement interview because there was day one some company which I didn't want to sit for. So I told my mom I'm not going, and I also gave a disclaimer: please make sure it's just between us and don't tell dad that companies are coming on campus and that I don't want to go. She said, don't worry, bacha, it's just between us, dad will not get to know. And as the mothers are laughing, next minute father gets a text. That's the level of transparency. So I am busy sleeping. I thought utna nahi hai kyunki there's no on campus that I have to go. I am sleeping, and on the feet I feel something. I feel some hitting. So I get up. There's my father with a stick. So I said, Papa ji, क्या हो गया? क्या हो गया? तू बताएगा, मैं बताऊं? You're gonna tell me or I have to tell you? I said, I acted innocent. I said, what's happening? My mother is standing behind him saying, he said, L&T's Infotech is coming for interview and you don't want to go? I said, I'll go. There are other companies. Cognizant is coming and, TCS is there. He said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Out. Go for your interview. So I said, okay. The interview was supposed to start at 8:30. This was 7:45. Our Shringar Leela is going on. Shringar Darshan. Govindam Adi Purusham. He's opening the curtain of my illusion. So then I got up. I had not even shaven properly. So I said, dekh lenge. The resume is not ready. I was so confident I didn't have to go. We'll make it later. I took the local train, left. We were doing on-campus preaching, so it helps. You have, like-minded Sajatiya friends who are Krishna conscious at the same time, Dukhale Mashashwatam. You are partners in crime. So I told them, I'm coming. They said, okay, don't worry, come. I don't even have proper shirt or pant. My father said, Mera pen ki nikal. So I put my father's, bulky shirt and trouser and belt. Jate, one friend is asking, Papa ka pen kiya hai? Bole, wo sab ab mat pooch. Don't ask about the history now. We have to write the geography. Let's go. So the first round they said was, just general multiple choice questions. So I said, let's go in. I was sure I'm not going to get in. So I went in 200 questions, 200 minutes or something like that. I had made a plan. Jaldi se jaldi bahar nikalna hai, and I'll go and tell my father I tried, I didn't get selected, But then I did whatever. We tried our best. We came out, got selected for that next round. And I was thinking, oh my God, now I have to make resume, I have to shave. I was too lazy. So ab kya kare? I told my friend, जाके थोड़ा razor और foam तो लेके आए. On campus in the college bathroom, Leela is going on. So he is getting foam, he is getting razor. Another devotee is busy making resume. I said, no, please don't do it. He is on another level. He said, Prabhuji, Vaishnav Seva ka opportunity nahi mil. Then I said, forget it, don't get into all that, I'll do it. He said, Prabhu, worship of the devotee is greater than worship of Krishna. Aapne bola. I said, don't use the philosophy here. I'll do it, don't worry. He said, no, I will do. Okay, next round. Group discussion. I entered the group discussion. 10 of us sitting there around a table, and the topic is, does God exist? Now, other kids have prepared all topics except this. And this kid of Prabhupada has not prepared anything except this topic. So they said, does God exist? My only problem was I should stop on time. Because the problem with most preachers is we have wall clock in front of us. They properly position it, of course, कि यहाँ बिठाएंगे ताकि सामने कम से कम time पे प्रभु जी stop करेंगे. But Krishna says, I am time, and Krishna is the doer. So the time is ticking on his own. We are not doing ahankara vimoodatma kartaham iti manyate. So does God exist? Govindaya Namo Nama. I began. 2-3 minutes I stopped. The buck is rolling around, no one has anything to say. Interestingly selected, third round. Now third round. Now this is the final round. Technical interview. I said, if I have to be, non-technical interview, we can talk and it's better to manage. I know, I agree, it's better to manage machines more than managing people, But then sometimes it's easier for people like me to talk to people than to have some technicals. I said, technical nahi hoga mujhse. I studied flip through, semiconductors, BJTs, FETs, MOSFETs, bas ratte laga rahe wahan. We are all in line trying to memorize. Finally, they say, yeah, what's your number? Number 5, go there. Number 6, go there. They're allotting different tables. So they have given one table. I go and sit there. I look at him. He looks at me. He looks at me. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmane. Now I'm going to pounce on him. And I am looking at him. Yamaraja Sahodara. Brother of Yamaraj. Sab kha lenge mujhe. He looks at me, I look at him. He, eye to eye. Then I'm looking down, I look at him, he looks at me. Then he tells me, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I am shocked. He unbuttons his shirt and shows me the Kanthi Mala. Then he looks at me. And then we are talking. He says, Radha Gopinath? I say, Radha Ras Bihari. Oh, wonderful. Then he starts telling me, हाँ Prabhuji, मैं Sunday feast में आया, बस प्रसाद लिया, बस कोई किसी ने माला दे दी, somebody gave me the beads, I attended. अभी every Sunday जाता हूँ. आपको तिलक भी थोड़ा लाइट दिखेगा मेरे में. I said, प्रभुजी आप में तो भगवान दिख रहा है मुझे. तिलक नहीं, ठाकुर जी दिख रहे हैं. I can see God in you. अब बेड़ा पार करा दो. He tells me, don't worry, there are invigilators around, so I have to be a little professional. So I said, okay, no problem. Between Madhurya some Aishwarya is important. So then he takes pencil and he puts 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. Then he asks me, who is more powerful out of the 3? मैं समझ गया, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा दिखा रहे. That was his question. So I said, and then we had to make it professional. So all the invigilators are around. We said, actually the component in the middle seems to be a little weak. It seems like a feminine part. But at the moment out here, I would definitely go with the third option, because that seems to be like the most powerful component out of the 3 that I would pick for this level of equipment. He said, very good. Then he draws 6. Ab main samajh gaya Shad Goswami. Then he tells me, so out of these 6 elements, what do you think is the relation? So it's very easy. I said the middle 2, I would say they are directly connected, because Rupa and Sanatan are brothers. And the one to the next, Jiva Goswami, is Bhai ke bete. So I said that's indirectly coupled, but I would say these 2 elements are directly coupled. And invigilators were thinking we are having a technical interview. But inside, Hasya Parihasya Sambhashan. So the point I'm making is, sometimes it gets really hilarious how much Prabhupada's movement can help us. I got out of the technical interview, the so-called technical interview. There were 450 candidates. L&T Infotech selected only 16, and I was one among them. I told the technical interviewer, I got selected. He said, you are the 16th. Prabhupada said 16 rounds. You are the 16th. 16वें पे आपको हो गया. So anyway, Vaijayanti. Those who are part of Prabhupada's movement, they will be victorious even materially. You don't have to worry. Yeah. So Krishna is wearing this garland of victory. Vaijayantim cha malam in Vrindavan. He's having this garland of victory. By the way, just on a side note, Vaijayanti mala means that mala which is made out of 5 flowers.
So how was it? Did you enjoy?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So yeah, there is another devotee. So you see, this is a real life incident. So how, in what way Krishna will help you, never know. So just keep faith in Krishna. So surrender to Krishna has six parts, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. Saranga Saranagati, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Vivarjanam, Rakshishati Vishwaso, Groptitya Varnam Tatha, Atmanikhepa Karpanye Sadvida Saranagati. So one component is Rakshishati Vishwaso. Krishna will protect. You have to have this faith and you just execute your duty. And perfectly in time, Krishna will help. Don't worry about that.
You.
So here is another devotee, one of my inspirational Shiksha Guru, Dr. Leela Purushottam Das. He is a professor from IIT Kanpur, Professor Lakshmidhar Behra. He is also the winner of Poonam and Prabhu Goel Chair Award professor. And he is from IIT Kanpur, and his area of specialization is robotics and artificial intelligence. So this summer I was doing some research project under Prabhuji. So I got his association up to some extent. So he is a very, very great inspirational personality. He is managing so many spiritual projects, one Gurukul in Brindavan. There is an Institute of Science and Spirituality which is trying to broadcast the Vedic message in a scientific way. So Prabhuji is doing many, many things. And also in IIT Kharagpur, you will be knowing Professor Pawan Goel. So Prabhuji, Leela Purushottam Prabhu is the advisor of Pawan Goel Prabhu. And I did my first project in natural language processing under Pawan Goel Prabhu. So he is also a very, very inspirational person. And at the same time, he is very, very Krishna conscious. Okay. So in this video, he is explaining uh, how he practiced Krishna consciousness during PhD. People say that PhD is very, very tough. We don't have any time. So in that crucial period also, Prabhuji practiced Krishna consciousness. So we have no amount of excuse. Okay. So we don't have any excuses, because if someone can practice so nicely during a busy schedule like PhD, then what to speak of our tiny things.
I lost interest in my PhD when I saw, because I came for PhD, or I pursued academic career because I thought probably that the scientists and researchers are only honest people on this earth. But when I came and I saw things, then I realized everybody almost in the same category. So when I became Krishna conscious, I understood what is the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. In 15 days, I wanted to give up my PhD, and I was ready to go to Vrindavan. And at that time, my professor scolded me and said, if you run, then others will point finger that these Krishna conscious people are escapists. And those days, once I started practicing Krishna consciousness, we would chant, we will go anywhere and talk to people about Bhagavad Gita teachings, and we enjoyed that. We enjoyed it very much. We enjoyed bringing people and making them sit, and our professor would speak to them about Bhagavad Gita. We enjoyed that, and that was very enjoyment. And I had no interest in my PhD. And I remember my professor, Professor Madan Gopal, who later became a Krishna devotee because of my association. He once called me and scolded me. He said, you look like a alien entity, because before that, me and Bikram Gadre and Jaydev, we were all student leader in our department in running IEEE program, making provisions such that PhD becomes very attractive for people in India to pursue. So I was very much part of the department, and they saw I am not seen nowadays in department. They were very angry with me. And my supervisor told, what are you doing? And later, my supervisor entered into a very personal problem. and he confided in me and said, I need some sermon. And it is that was the beginning of my sweet relations with my supervisor. And still, I was not feeling any motivated how to do my PhD. Because if you look at my schedule those days, 4:15 used to be Mangalarati. And whether it is cold winter or summer, we will take birth at 4 o'clock. By 4:15, we are in our professor's house for Mangalarati. And then by the time we come from his house is 8:30. And so after coming, we will cleanse our cloth, put them in the cloth line, and do little cleaning work in the room. So by the time 9 or 10 o'clock, and we have some unfinished rounds, we will chant, and then we'll go to the computer room. And I remember those days, I would be so tired, and once I entered in the computer room, I'll be sleeping there, at least for 1 hour or so. And then I would start doing something. But what happened is our determination to remain in Krishna consciousness. And we understood also, because Krishna says he gives us the. And you will be surprised to know that although I had lost all interest in my PhD, I published in 3.5 years 8 journal papers. 8 journal papers in my PhD. I'm the first in electrical engineering to submit thesis. Okay. So how that happened? Because when you become Krishna conscious, then you are so focused in 1 hour what you can achieve. Otherwise, it would take probably a month to achieve. I'll share one incident. I had sent a paper for those days. Nowadays, though, you can write a paper. You have softwares to write like LaTeX or Word. We didn't have any of these things in my time. We will write in handwriting, and then we give it to our supervisor. They will correct it. And I had 2 supervisors. And after one, the second, and then I will, after this is corrected, then I will give it to Jia Sarai, the person who would type it. He will take 4 rupees per page for typing. And then once that comes back, again, I will correct it. Then I will give it for second correction to my supervisor. And then it will give in final printing. And then it will be sent to IEEE headquarters in London and IEEE headquarters in America. You can imagine, it goes through surface mail, imagine. And with that, I had 8 journal papers to publish. I published 8 journal papers. And in my time, we could not publish in conferences because conferences, those days, we could not pay those registration fees. We didn't have that ability to pay. And we could publish these papers because at least IIT was generous enough to mail it, and that mailing charge IIT was paying. That is how we could do it. And we published, and I am surprised. I have graduated 19 PhDs. None of them have published more than 3-4 papers in journals. And maximum they publish nowadays in conferences because I have some projects and they take the money from this project and pay the registration fees. Otherwise, so my dear friend, if you become Krishna conscious, so I will tell you my dincharya, daily schedule was 4 o'clock I get up, 4:15 I go to my professor's house. We do Mangalarti, we do Bhagavatam class, we do chanting, and almost by 9:30, I go to my office lab to work there. And again, 5 o'clock, we are back. At 5 o'clock, we take bath and go. By 6 o'clock, we are in this professor's house. Again, there is evening program. 8 o'clock, we return. And 8 o'clock, we will do some program in our house, in our hostel room, where we invite others. We feed them some prasadam. We will make a book table. We will demonstrate our Prabhupada books. And we will have some discussion. And that is how we led our life. And we could finish our PhD very easily. How that happens? Finally, all abilities comes from Krishna. And it is not some theoretical. It is actual. It is actually actual. If you depend on Krishna properly, then Krishna would give you intelligence, how to do things effectively and efficiently. And more important, when we became Krishna conscious, we were very happy. We didn't have any anxiety. We didn't have any stress, which I see here. One of my PhD students, he went mad. He became he entered into depression. But if you become Krishna conscious, you are spiritually strong, then you will not be suffering from mental anxiety, stress, and you'll be always focused. So even if we were told in our time, our professor told, a PhD scholar should spend every day 7 to 8 hours. Like for example, I was spending 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening, 7 hours. And it was sufficient. 7 hours, those 7 hours are focused. Mind was not talking. And we are not creating this story, that story. No, because we are focused on Krishna. Krishna guided us, how to do work so that this is published, Because after all, what a PhD is. If you have publication, you get a PhD. If you don't have publication, you don't get a PhD. Because who would satisfy your PhD if you don't have a publication? So that is why it pays. If you lead a spiritual life, your mind becomes focused, you become more effective.
So we saw these two inspiring examples, and in both of the scenarios, you can observe one phenomena. So this is, we have come to the conclusion. 1 or 2 minutes I will take. So Krishna says in Gita that Ananyas Chintayanto mam jejana pariyupashate tesham nityavijuktamam yoga kshemam bahamyaham. It means I maintain whatever my devotee has and I give them whatever they lack. Now you see in the case of Amarendra Prabhu what happened. He was reluctant to go to the interview. So Krishna somehow arranged that he reaches the interview center. Then he was little bit afraid of technical interview. So that also Krishna managed in such a way that the interviewer is a devotee. Okay. So if there is some shortcomings within you, Krishna can take care of that if you are a sincere devotee. But if you just rely on your hard work and if you have a shortcoming, you don't have any option. In case of Leela Purushottam Prabhu also, we saw that he was going to leave PhD and go to Vrindavan, but that was not a correct decision. So Krishna inspired the professor, because Krishna is also there in the heart of the professor as Paramatma. So Krishna inspired the professor to scold Leela Purushottam Prabhu that you should not go. And although Leela Purushottam Prabhu explained that he was a little bit tired when he was in lab, he was feeling a little bit of sleepy. So, and he was not motivated for PhD. So there are many, many shortcomings. Less time, not motivated, lazy or lethargic. All these shortcomings are there. But then what is the end result? He published the most number of journals with manual writing. Can you imagine? Today, to write a paper, it will take, if you have everything ready, it will take 2 or 3 hours to write a paper, and you can just mail within a second, it reaches, it gets submitted. In those days, to write a paper, it would take, the whole process would take like 1 month. So with that kind of slow technology, he was able to publish 8 journal papers. Conference is low level thing. Journal is very, very big thing. And that also 8 journal papers. Nowadays, PhD is given to one if somebody has published 2, 3 conference papers. And he was publishing 8 journal papers. Can you imagine? So this is the mercy of Krishna. If you have shortcomings, Krishna has the ability to make up for those shortcomings. The only condition is Tesham nityavijuktamaam. Then only you will get Yogakshemam Bahamyaham. You have to be very, very sincere in your execution of Krishna consciousness. And sincerity means chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, regularly reading the Srila Prabhupada books, and staying in devotee association. That's all. We will end with Srila Prabhupada's quote. Srila Prabhupada on a lecture on Bhagavad Gita in Los Angeles, January 6, 1969, told, yes, the important thing is that you are working for Krishna. That is important. You see, and Maya is calling, the destructive agent of Krishna. The Maya is calling. That is not very important. You engage yourself. Keep yourself engaged in Krishna's activities. Then Maya, even calling, she will not be, able to call you back. Haridas Thakur is the example. Maya Devi Maya Devi tried to entice Haridas Thakur, but he was absorbed in the holy name, so he was not distracted. She will call. That is a quite natural. But you stick to your business of chanting your rounds and serving Krishna. Mame vaje prapaddante maya metam tarantite. We already saw this verse. You will find in the 7th chapter. If we stick to the principle of Krishna consciousness, Maya will not be able to react upon us. Revati Nandan Prabhu is asking, Prabhupada, that means that eventually we will stop being distracted? Prabhupada, yes. Eventually, Maya will fail to attract you. She will fail. You will not fail. All right. Chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for such patient hearing. And thank you, Akash Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Ribol, thank you so much, Prabhu. It was a very inspiring session. And whenever we call you for the sessions, first you mercifully agree, and secondly, you just don't agree. You do full justice to whatever is being told to you, despite your hectic schedule as well. You are preparing and you are giving so much of time to these second-year students. We are very, very, very grateful to you, Prabhu. Right
I am
now,
also very, very grateful, Prabhu, for this service opportunity because now here at that time when I was in voice, there were lots of services. So I am also like whenever I can find some time, I want to devote that to Krishna service. Already there are lots of academic things going on. So yes.
we are very, very grateful. So we'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Ruparaj Ram Prabhu by 3 times loudly chanting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu, and please forgive me if I did something wrong or some wrong management.
No problem.
And
Nothing.
I'm very
Any
grateful to you, and
questions?
we'll like
Anyone has any questions?
uh, one question I have, Prabhu.
Yes.
Some devotees, because I have explained, but if you explain, it will be better, Prabhu.
Okay.
Like while we are preaching, it is sometimes a bit scary in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
that how should I preach? It's a kind of hesitation to approach new people, and I had that, Prabhu. So, how to overcome this fear of preaching?
Hmm. So means to the college students mainly.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So yeah, what I have seen that trend in preaching, like we used to give device sessions, and also I try to preach some student personally. Some of them means some of them were fruitful discussions, and they ultimately became devotees, and some are still hanging after 4 years. I remember such cases also. So actually, first of all, I think for preaching, we have to send our message to the heart of that person. Now, what happens for most of the cases, there is a covering of ego which reflects our message. So first of all, my principle is I have to become friend with that person. So in the beginning only, I should not start means bombarding the philosophy. You have to do this. You have to leave meat eating. You have to leave all these things. You have to change. So that is like I'm imposing some restrictions on that person, and this is a tendency of a living entity who is there in material world. So why a living entity is there in material world? If we investigate the root cause, it is because he wants independence from the laws of Krishna. That's why he has come to this material world. So you will find this nature in every living entity, that that living entity is having so much ego. I am independent. Nobody should instruct me. Nobody should restrict me from doing anything. I will do whatever I like. So in the beginning only, if we start with putting restrictions so that person may get averse. So first of all, we have to become a little bit of friend. Like we have to understand what kind of person he is. Like some person are scientifically motivated, so we have to approach them scientifically. Some persons has a intrinsic faith on the supreme lord. If we have that faith, we have to cultivate that. Some persons rely on the stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas. Means some stories they know, and based on those stories they have some conception. So and they have faith on scriptures, so we can provide them more scriptural information. Those persons who are atheist completely, on the basis of science they try to disprove the existence of god, to those persons we can approach scientifically. We can show that, see, such great scientists, they have also commented this, and there are a lot of, the whole device session is arranged in such a way that atheistic person also will accept the Krishna consciousness. So first of all, uh, whenever we are seeing a person, we don't know what is the mindset. So what technique will click for that person? So first of all, we have to know the nature of that person. So for that, we have to become friends. Like we can talk to him friendly, and then discuss about his well-beings, like how everything is going on. So people appreciate being loved and cared. So if I give them some love and care, it actually helps. So one of my senior in voice, Rohit Prabhu, he used to tell me that preaching is in this kind of caring attitude more than philosophy. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say one profuse statement, that is, we can preach every time, but sometimes we can speak. People have this misconception that giving lecture is preaching, but that's not the case. By our attitude, our behavior, how much we are caring for that person, that is actual preaching. So when that person will appreciate that, oh, this person really cares for me. Actually, I had this confusion in the beginning, in the first year. I have never seen such creatures who come all the way to my room to give me some prasad and give me some good advice, and they are taking nothing from me. I did not have any experience of such kind of person. So I discovered these creatures to be something different from the normal earthly creatures. They were devotees. So I thought, I was investigating for like 6 months. What is their reason? What is the reason why they are coming again and again? Do they want something from me? And after observing 6 months, also I thought, I saw that he is not charging me any kind of money or anything. It's just selfless service. So this actually melted my heart. Though, oh, such kind of persons also exist. So what is their motivation? So then I got into the philosophy. So this thing actually very important for preaching. It actually touches the heart. So first of all, your behavior and your caring attitude, and try to understand that person. And then if some philosophical concept is blocking that person to reach Krishna, then with your philosophy you cut down that. But it's not the case always. All it's not that whatever verses I have learned, whatever philosophy I have learned, I will bombard that, and people will become devotee. When I was in the beginning, I tried this technique, but this did not work out. So we have to reach the heart of that person by love and care. In voice, in your room only, I think there were some comments, small comments, and I think in the Advaita, in the next room, you will find there is a very beautiful comment that preaching means representing Krishna's love to the world, or Krishna's compassion for the living entities to them. So a preacher means he is representing Krishna's love for those living entities. So we have to love people, and we have to show that we are caring for them without any kind of selfish agenda. Then people will appreciate. That is the whole purpose of preaching. Actually, if we do preaching with such mood, then Paramatma in the heart will inspire that person. Otherwise, if we are having ulterior motive and we are preaching because I want to show that person how much I know, then Paramatma will not allow that person to be convinced. So that's the whole thing. Nobody becomes devotee by our own endeavor. It is the Paramatma in the heart who inspires that person, and he becomes devotee. So if your intention is good, then Paramatma will sanction and that person will become devotee. So this thing is important, I feel.
Thank you, Prabhu, so much. This is very good advice.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
And Prabhu, some people might be there, Prabhu, who don't talk only much. They talk very
Yeah.
less.
Yeah, for that kind of people, like, we can give them books if they like. Our prasad is the all-purpose weapon. ISKCON bullets, So we can give them prasad, and gradually, if they are talking less, so we can tell them, they can listen. And if they don't have any objection, we can gradually give them some amount of philosophy so that his faith is well established. So we have to discover, when we interact with that person, we will discover that actually when we try, Paramatma will only give us intelligence how to convince that person. So we just have to associate them with them and gradually see what are the interests of him. If that person is inclined towards music, we can give some kirtan, or accordingly, like according to the situation, we can do something. And some persons are there who are whatever we try, they are not going to become a devotee. So for them, we can try, but after a certain limit, we should not waste our time, because in that time we could have made other persons devotee. 5-6 devotees we could have made. So that thing also we have to keep in mind.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your time.
Okay, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
We'll see you
Krishna.
again, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Manchakalpatarovhyascha kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, आप लोग जल्दी आ जाइए. We have to take prasadam and we have to leave. Yeah. Directly take plate and come to temple hall. Hari Bol.